we go. Or can I? Hello, everybody. It's Sunday night. The name of the show is Intuitive Inc., and I am still Servet Hassan. We have a great show for you tonight. I have a guest that we're bringing back for an encore presentation, Nancy Yearout. She wrote a book called Wake Up! The Universe is Speaking to You, which we're going to be discussing. She was on Super Bowl Sunday, and we had so much to talk about. I have pages of notes, and there wasn't a lot of audience that night, so I thought we'd have her back and finish the conversation. So thank you, Nancy. Welcome.
Thanks, Servet. Thanks for having me back.
Oh, you're welcome. I loved talking to you, and we had a lot more to say, and we didn't have enough time, and it was a strange weekend, Super Bowl Sunday, and I thought, well, why not? So, and also, I want to kind of explain to people who didn't hear the first show that you can, it's all about energy, all about how energy affects every aspect of your life. I read the book. Right. It's great. But you're also an inspirational speaker, and you continue your energy work with spiritual life coaching, but you're also a very successful owner of your own real estate firm in New Mexico, too, right?
That's true.
All of the above.
I still do real estate. Yes, I do. I'm a businesswoman and, have been lucky enough to have the opportunity to write down some of these really cool things that I've learned along the way to share with other people.
Good. And hopefully we'll have some people that call in tonight. So if you're listening, the second half of the show, we will be taking calls at 949-313-8880 because I know some of you wanted to call in and you listened to the show after it aired because they all go up on my YouTube channel. But this is a live show, so if you want to call, you have to listen to it when it's on. So I'm hoping that those people are tracking back in again. So, one of the things that I kind of want you to start with, Nancy, well, first of all, you're traveling right now, right? So thank you for doing this.
No, I'm thrilled. As many people as I can, get the message out to, I feel like I'm doing a service to people because I've learned about energy and it's really helped me in my life, and my goal is to just help other people.
Well, good, but I have to ask, where are you?
Sure. Oh, I'm in the hill country of Texas right now.
I know, because you hinted it right before we went on the air. She said, I'm kind of in the hill country. And I thought, where the heck is she? Well, beautiful. I'm glad you're traveling and having fun.
Yes,
that's what's like. Okay, so for people out there, how do you define waking up?
Waking up, paying attention to what's going on around you. I think that people don't pay attention to the energy in their home, the energy at the office, the people who surround them. And I think one of the biggest things, we don't pay attention to the words that we speak and the thoughts that we project out there, because everything is energy. And if I could get anything across to people tonight, it's so important to be careful about what you say, because what you say, the vibration of your words goes out into the universe, and the universe is set up in such a way that it gives us exactly what we ask for. So if you say, I will never be successful, the universe thinks, wow, she doesn't want to be successful, so I'll make sure she's not. If you say, I'm going to be thin and I'm going to be successful and everything's great, that's the impression that the universe picks up. So it's whatever you say and whatever you think really does make a difference in your life and the people that surround you. I always tell people, stay away from negative people because that negative energy affects you whether you realize it or not. And sometimes it's difficult to stay away from negative people. So I always tell people, if you're in an office or you're in a space where there's nothing you can do and you're around negativity, when you come home, there's a lot of different things you can do. I always say a real simple thing is a sea salt bath. What that does is the properties within the sea salt, and you pick it up at any grocery store. You get in, put a half a cup of sea salt in the bathtub and soak for 30 minutes. Get some of that yucky, negative energy off of you. Another thing I say to people is go get a massage. One of the best things you can do for yourself is to go get a massage. Why? all the negativity gets in your bones and gets, into your muscles and your tissue. And if it's not released, what happens is that really builds up, and it can actually change, your health. It can affect your immune system. So, this energy thing, it's not a weird ooey gooey thing. If you think about it, we are in these bodies. We're made up of energy. Mm-hmm. We are energy, and people don't talk about how energy really affects us. And, over the years, I've used different things in my business. It started out with affirmations, mm-hmm. the power of the spoken word, things like that. And as I have experimented, it's been probably 20 years, Servette, that I've been doing this kind of work. I just learn more and more to pay attention to what you're saying, what you're thinking, right. what you're doing, because you do create your own world. You do create your own life for yourself. We're little creators,
Right. We're always creating, whether we know it or not. We are creating our reality. It's just the way it is, and it can be good or bad. So if you're not awoken or awakened, to me, awakened means that you're mindful. Do you know that you're in the moment? You're always present in the moment, and you're not thinking about the past or thinking about the future, but staying mindful in the moment. And when you do that, you can awaken yourself spiritually to energetically shift. Otherwise, it's hard. Right?
Right. And yeah, exactly. And I believe in living in the moment as well, because mm-hmm. whatever you do now makes a difference to what's going to happen tomorrow. And in the book, I talk about how to clear your energy fields, how to clear your chakras, which is really important because we do have the energy fields. I talk about, the massage. I talk about essential oils and how we can use those to clear our homes and our spaces. And there's so many different things that we can do that I think people just aren't aware of. And right. So those are some of the techniques that I talk about.
Well, right. And a lot of people, I hope they call in later. Are you listening out there? Because a lot of people have really, the one of the biggest obstacles for a lot of people is how to do this when you're around people you can't get away with. Besides the sea salt and everything, you have to, some people are married to people that are bringing them down. Or people they work with, or a family, or, how do you shift energy when you're in it all the time?
Yeah, there's a lot of ways that you actually can protect yourself. And one thing I talk about is putting white light around yourself and mm-hmm. protecting yourself, saying a quick prayer before you go to work. If you're in a bad work situation, I always say just visualize white light around yourself. And what I'm talking about is the white light, heavenly light. White light is healing. And if you can visualize white light coming down through your head, through your body, mm-hmm. it's actually healing to your body as well as heals your chakras. Meditation. If you could meditate for 10 minutes before you go into the office and surround yourself with white light. And, it's amazing, some of these things that you can do. If you have relatives coming over, say for the holidays or an event, and everybody doesn't always get along, I always say put a little cinnamon on the stove and some water. Maybe put 3 or 4 tablespoons of cinnamon, and let that cinnamon smoke. The steam. It actually will clear the atmosphere, and it will balance the energy in the room, and nobody will know what you're doing.
Right.
But try it. It actually works.
I'm going to try that.
Different things.
I'm going to try that. I am, Nancy. I love cinnamon anyway. It's really good for focusing and clearing and all kinds of. And I use white light every day as well. But let's go back, because really, honestly, if you want to shift your energy, and you also the other subtitle of the book is The Universe is Speaking to You. If you want to hear what the universe is saying, you have to meditate. You have to meditate. Even 5 minutes a day, I believe, will change a person's life than not doing it at all, right?
I agree with you, Servette. Even, like you say, 5-10 minutes in the morning is the best time to do it. And when you can just quiet your mind, it's interesting. And that's my best time, and I always get my best ideas. And, if you're something's on your mind and it's bothering you when you meditate, you seem to get the answers when you can quiet your mind for maybe 10 minutes or so. And there's a lot of great CDs out there. A lot of people say, oh, I have a hard time meditating. Pick up one of the CDs that's out there. There's so many, and you can follow along. You can download them and, just follow along with some of these meditations that can just help you tremendously. It's not weird. It's not ooey gooey. It's really beneficial to people. Actually, it's beneficial for our health.
Oh, absolutely.
And also to keep us on our path. If people can just start paying attention, like I say, wake up to their words, to their surroundings, clear themselves of some negative energy. I do a whole chapter about essential oils. I talk about aromatherapy as another wonderful thing you can do. We talked about the cinnamon, but there's also frankincense is wonderful to clear. And, frankincense has been used to heal a lot of people with cancer. There's a big study, and I write about it in the book, where they've used frankincense to cure ovarian cancer, which is wonderful. And what it does is they've actually come up with a way that the frankincense actually resets your DNA code. Isn't that amazing?
Wow.
So a lot of these... Yeah, a lot of these things that, they talked about frankincense and myrrh in the Bible, and they talked about how they brought Jesus, the gold, the frankincense, and myrrh. Why was it so valuable? Well, because the properties within these essential oils were meant to heal us. And it's really interesting if we can start getting back to basics, start using some of these old remedies and some of these things that, people have used for thousands of years. When I talk about the salt, think about the Dead Sea. The Dead Sea and the properties within the salt are so healing to us, and people don't realize it. So there's many things that we can do that are available that aren't costly, very simple things that people can do to keep themselves balanced.
Right, and they're in your book, Wake Up, the Universe is Speaking to You. I didn't know about the frankincense and cancer. I did not know. I have to research. So is it smelly? Is it aromically, or it's not applying it, right?
It's a different compound, right? There is, and if you read in my book, I have a whole, here, I'll pull it out for you, and I'll just kind of give you a little synopsis here. And what I have written about, actually, and because frankincense is really cool. So it's been used for centuries as a folk medicine, which I had spoken about. And it's used today, as incense. A lot of people use it for perfume, but it's also used to treat like skin conditions. They've used it, let's say here, for Lou Gehrig's disease, Alzheimer's disease, Parkinson's disease, multiple sclerosis. All of these things have made a difference when they use the frankincense. And what happens is, the frankincense helps reset your messed up DNA code. So they've done, it was in 2013 in Leicester University. They did research, and this was over in the UK, and that's when they came up with this compound. And the doctor who did it, Mohammed Suhal, he was working on, fighting cancer, and he was trying to figure out how to do it. And he's the one that went in and said, hey, it changes the DNA code within the cell's nucleus that has been corrupted. And it's a different kind of, now it's not like going to the store and buying frankincense. He uses a different type of compound in order to do it. But I'm just saying that a lot of these things, I put frankincense, I buy it, and I put the pure frankincense in my aromatherapy, and I run that in my house a lot, and it just balances the energy within your house. It balances the energy for you. So, there's so many things that we can do.
Well, I'm a big believer in all of that. In Japan, they put essential oil, lemon, often lemon in the ventilation systems because they know it keeps you alert and awake and uplifted. And that works. I'm addicted to lavender oil. I am.
Yes.
I'm sorry, but I am. I just can't get enough. It's
Well, and then when you put the sea salt in the bathtub, put a couple drops of lavender oil because it will help as well.
I do.
Do you do that?
Yeah, I do. I make my own. I actually put. I not only. I actually have fresh lavender that I pick because it's in the park next door. So I pick a lot of lavender and it goes into I mix my own bath salts. But I do use Dead Sea salts. Absolutely.
Yes.
So depending on whatever I need other than the Dead Sea salts, it could be an oil, it could be rose petals for self-love, it could be whatever. I will pick that out and add it in and mix it right before I use it. I don't mix it and keep it, if that makes sense.
Right. No, it does. And, you can buy the coolest thing that I found out recently. My husband and I have a jacuzzi, and, I said to him, we ought to put some sea salt in the jacuzzi. And, cause we're in it a lot and it really helps you relax and helps your body. And so I ordered some Dead Sea salt, from the Dead Sea and it comes and you can order it online. It's so easy. And you just, in your bathtub, in your jacuzzi, whatever, it makes a huge difference. I don't know if people realize you can actually order it. It's very simple to do.
Right.
So another thing I talk about that I want to mention is music. Everybody loves music and, everybody feels great when a good upbeat song comes on the radio, and they're driving or whatever. Music has a tendency, the vibrations, again, we're back to the vibrations. The vibrations of music can really heal us. And, I did a lot of research when I wrote my book and I've talked a lot in there about harps. The harp is mentioned I think 66 times in the Bible. And there is a international harp association and they go to hospice and they go to ICU units and they play the harp, and the vibrations of the harp has actually made a huge difference in decreased the pain of a lot of patients. It's helped a lot of people balance their energy fields. They talk about, you've probably heard about the singing bowl, Servet. They use those a lot in Tibet. Right. It's the same concept where, you're singing bowls and they use those to help heal cancer patients as well. And it's become more and more popular. So again, it's the vibration that is healing our energy fields. And so all of these things, if you really start to think about it, make a lot of sense.
Well, yeah, absolutely. And they've been around for forever. I mean, I know people that chant in Sanskrit and, or the Buddhists chant too. And that's why, because it's not necessarily the words you're saying, although they all have meaning, but it's the vibration and the sound and the voices together when you hear monks in a Buddhist monastery, mani padme mani padme, it does something to you.
Right, exactly.
And in India, people, now it's become popular in the West too, but, they've been chanting Sanskrit chants from thousands of years ago, and they're still the same chants.
If you just say Om, if anybody, this is really crazy, but if you go Om, it's more like home, you can feel that resonate in your body. Well, if everybody just sat down and did it,
that's
it's
not
amazing.
Crazy. That's been around for thousands of years too, and it may be crazy to a few people out there, but get over it because it's not crazy anymore. Really, seriously, and it's actually it actually starts with an it's beautiful and it really lifts you up. And they're just good songs. Like if you're going to be, I love the harp. I do love the harp. And I do remember reading that part in your book and going, that's true. It's hard to find harp music, but even if you're just listening, I never listen to the radio. I only listen to selected, if you've ever listened to Handel's Messiah, you get to those hallelujahs and you're just through the roof. Or even just popular songs like, I Believe I Can Fly. I can touch the sky, whatever. And I can see clearly now, I'm not going to sing because I know people will get off the line if they hear me sing because I believe I can fly. No, they will like it. I would be very, very rich if I were a singer because people would pay me not to do it.
So,
just
but
stop.
The music is wonderful.
I know.
And it really does. It'll change your mood. I mean, think about it. Think about going to a concert and all the people listening. I mean, whether it's a rock concert or whether you're listening to the harp.
Right.
The energy of the music makes a difference. It's the vibration. And it affects our energy fields because we're made up of energy, And that's why, and I talk about prayer a lot too in my book, because it's the energy of your words. It's the energy of your thoughts. So when you pray, you're putting that intention out to the universe, and your words have energy, and your intention has energy, and that's what makes a difference. And it goes out into the universe, and the universe actually picks up on it and sends you back what you put out.
Right.
And that's really the bottom line to this, is whatever you put out is what you get back. And the world is so crazy lately, and I've been really thinking, what can I do to help? Because it just seems like the vibrations are low. People are just, I don't know, it's just a bad energy going on around the world. And I just feel like if everybody could just take a moment and put out some good energy, put out some love energy, do something positive, it could actually raise the vibration here, and it could make a difference. And I know people think, oh, it's just me, I can't make a difference. Yes, you can. If everybody, thought about their words and maybe said a kind word to somebody, to a stranger, or anything positive, instead of all the negativity that I see swirling around in the world. You watch the news and you see all the horrible things going on. I think if we could all just stop and put on a happy face, put on a smile, say a kind word to a stranger, or call your mom, or whatever it is, but put some good energy out there, because good energy begets more good energy. And all this negative energy that people keep putting out is creating more and more negativity in our world, and that's what the issue is right now. And I'd really love to see it flip the other way.
I know. I would too. I agree, Nancy. It's true. The universe is one big, almost computer program. It only understands yes, like you said, and that's just a fundamental truth. It's a fundamental universal law. If you say my thighs are heavy, your thighs will get heavier. That's just how it is. So if people, and it doesn't really matter what you believe or what your political viewpoints are. It doesn't really matter, because you can, for me, it's none of my business what other people believe. I'm only in charge of what I believe. So you don't have to get in their face and do what they do. You can do what you do quietly and still be positive. This anger, this anger that's around everything is just, it's counterintuitive. It'll just create more.
Well, the energy is bad, and that's another reason why I am trying so desperately to get this point across to people, that we actually, all of us, can make a difference. We really can. And we can all put out good energy, and the earth and the people, and this vibration goes out. Okay, and the universe picks up on it. And I think that's why we're having so many issues around the world with our weather.
Right.
We're having so many issues. Yeah, because people just, the negativity and the killing
anger.
It's just
fear.
Anger, yes.
Fear and anger. And,
Yes.
It does create. Have you noticed, I know, because I deal with, you do too, you deal with clients, you do life coachings and things. I know when I do it with couples, or not couples even, but if somebody's angry or they're fighting all the time, you'll notice that their plants will die, that their dog's sick. There's just, you know what I mean? It's like everything in the household surrounding them feels and picks up on that energy. And you can I can, and I know you can too, Nancy. You can walk in that house and it's palatable because I'm sensitive to energy anyway, and they'll be like, I don't know why, no plant we buy, no flowers we buy, they all die the next day. And I'm like, okay, well,
Well, yeah, that's when I tell them to go out and get a sage stick, I'm from New Mexico, so I tell them, get online.
Well, stop getting
angry. Some white sage.
Well, true, but also stop fighting, because until you stop fighting, it won't help. I mean, you have to, you can get your point across and get what you want conceivably without being angry. That's,
right.
I think.
Change it up.
Yeah. And until that stops, then, you can't really address the other issue, because it's just going to things will just keep, and then other stuff starts happening too. You lose your keys, you have a car accident, energy
snowballs. Huh? It snowballs.
Yeah, it does. It does snowball. Okay, well, tell everybody how they can find your book and anything else they want to know about you and your energy work.
Yeah, you can. Thanks, Saret. It's called Wake Up, The Universe is Speaking to You, and it's by Energy Girl Publishing. And you can go to my website. It's theenergyprofit.com. And you can get my book at Barnes & Noble, and you can get my book at Amazon.com, or you can order it from my website. If you want to email me, you're welcome to energygirlnancy@gmail.com, and I'll be happy to answer any questions that you have for me.
Okay, it's energygirlnancy@gmail.
At Gmail,
okay.
Yeah. And my website is theenergyprofit.com.
Okay, and it's not spelled any weird way. It's just the Energy Profit, PROPHET.com.
That's correct.
Good. Yeah. Okay, because sometimes, and I'm sure you're on Amazon. You know, if anybody wants to get a hold of her book. Now, are you available for people to call for consultations, or are you clairvoyant as well? I mean,
I am.
Do you see?
I am. Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
I am. Well, and you know that, Sarah.
Yeah. So I had to bring that up, because it's like, if part of what happens when you tune into energy is that you can read energy. You know what I mean? It's like, it's just a natural part of the process, because if you're really tapping into the universal source and the energy that's everywhere, and you can read into that, then you're going to know things about people.
I do, and I do readings for people, and people call me, and I do coaching, and I do life coaching. I like to say spiritual coaching, and I do tarot cards. If people want a reading, I will set up an appointment with them and do those things. I'm very intuitive, yes, and you are correct. The more you work with this stuff, and the more you pay attention, and I think the more you believe that there is a higher power, because there is a God, there is a creator. You can call him spirit, you can call it God, you can call it whatever you want, but there is a power, a being that's more powerful than us, that created us. And, people seem to get away from that. They think that we have power. We don't.
Right.
Our creator
control.
has the power.
Yeah, or control.
Yes.
They think they have control of everything.
Is exactly right.
Yeah, exactly. But it's so you do, and I really honestly, I tell everybody I don't actually do anything. It's just whatever source, God, whatever you want to call that energy. I call it God, but it's not some anthropomorphic guy in the sky either. It's just energy and that source, that love and source. And it just downloads whatever, things just come out of nowhere, and I relay it without interruption,
Right. And a lot of times it's not, they'll ask me something and it just comes through me, like you say. It has nothing to do with what I think.
Right.
It's whatever I'm supposed to tell the person comes out of my mouth and comes into my head and out of my mouth.
Exactly.
That's it. Yeah, that's how it works.
Right. Mm-hmm. If you start interpreting it, then there's room for error, I believe. Because I think everyone's intuitive. I really do. Everybody on this planet is intuitive. My feeling is that it's sort of like, we have intuition. We also have instinct. We have instinct that tells us to blink and breathe and digest our food, and we're not doing that. Hopefully, we're not doing that consciously. It's just our brain knows to do that. It's our instinct. Right. And I think that for survival, and I think our intuition is our instinct of the soul. And yes. Really, honestly, it's our soul's connection to its source, and you can call that whatever you want to. And it's never, ever, ever wrong. It's when we start to add our brain into that message and start to feel, well, right. That can't be right. Oh, he can't be that bad. All of that. And then we don't listen to that gut.
Exactly.
Yeah. And isn't that your experience as well? Is not that most people aren't intuitive. It's just that they don't believe. They start to doubt themselves, or they question it, or they wonder if it's
You're
right.
You're exactly right. Yes. I agree with you. We're all intuitive. It's whether you choose to use it or not.
Right.
I choose to use it. You choose to use it. Mm-hmm. I choose to use it to help myself and to help other people. And the more you listen to your intuition, the more you become intuitive. And what you are, and exactly what you said, Servat, we're tapping into source. We're tapping into the Creator. He gave us this intuition for a reason. Mm-hmm. And that's how the universe is set up. I think the most interesting thing for me was when I was in the real estate industry and I was just getting going, and I had 2 young girls and I was a single mom, and I started to say affirmations because I needed to draw business to myself. Mm-hmm. Now, you can draw anything to yourself. And the first thing I did was affirmations. And I learned that if I got in my car, I would say, oh, I sell houses like crazy, but you have to believe it.
That's right.
And when I talk about affirmations, you can draw something to yourself. You can draw anything to yourself, but you have to have the faith that our Creator is going to let you have what you are asking for.
Right.
So a lot of times people say, oh, I say my affirmations and they don't work, or I have a vision board and it doesn't work. Mm-hmm. Well, this isn't just about putting out words. This is about having faith in your heart and soul that what you're asking for will come to pass.
Right.
So a lot of this is faith, and you have to have faith. I think a lot of people have gotten so into the materialistic, how I look, what I have, how much money I make. But that's not what it's all about. We've kind of lost our way. We are spiritual people, and we really become, more earthly people instead of spiritual people. And I always tell people, you're only going to be here for a certain amount of time. Do what you can. Do good, because when you get up to the pearly gates, I don't think God's going to say, hey, what'd you accumulate down there?
Yeah,
or
how
I
much
think
money
maybe he'll
did
say,
you make?
What did you do for somebody else? Or how did you use your time? Or were you kind? Or did you do for others? The material things you can't take with you.
Well,
I know people are trying to accumulate, and they think, oh, the person who has the most stuff wins, but that's not how it really works.
No, that's not how it works at all.
It's backwards.
Yeah, no, I just read a book about how, God, I wish I could remember her name. I'll try to blog it, so if you want to find, but she wrote a book about, and it's not the first time, of what people who were just about to pass wanted to say, they were at the end of their lives, however old they were, and none of them talked about money. None of them. They all said that the majority of them, well, it was all about love, but the majority of them said that they wish they had spent more time being happy, and that involved being with people that they loved. It wasn't, nobody talked about, I wished I'd gotten a Porsche, or I had a Porsche, or whatever. No, not a one person there. No, not a one. And there were very, very successful people in that group. So, I mean, it doesn't come to, we know that, but it's like, but
Yeah,
other
but
people have
forget.
to remember
It's
that.
like,
Yeah, that's what
yeah.
yeah, exactly. They have to remember that. And it's true. We have to, I remember after The Secret came out, which was over a decade ago now, if you can believe that. But, people would
Yeah.
say, I did it, I watched it a million times, and our thoughts create our reality, and I get it, and how come nothing's happening? And I would be the same way. It's like you can say affirmations, and there's nothing wrong with that, and you can do vision boards, and there's nothing wrong with that. But until you shift your inner being, which is your energy, which is your
Right.
consciousness, until you shift your consciousness to believe that, then
Right.
it's not going to happen. And where most people get stuck is they want to know how it's going to happen and when it's going to happen. And, well, if I don't know anybody in that industry, how could that be? And I'm like, you can't worry about that stuff. You just have to have an intention and know it's going to happen.
Right.
Right?
Right. You put the intention out to the universe and you let it go and have faith in a higher power. You have faith in God to know that you will receive it or something better. I always say that people have gotten lost and they don't realize, hey, ask the Lord for some help. Because if you say, hey, God, I can really use some help, prayer. I say a prayer before I go into a tough meeting. I say a prayer before I make a phone call. I know it may sound corny to some people, but it's the energy. It's like you said, the intention.
Right.
And, it does make a difference. If it's a simple phone call, and I need to get the right person on the phone, I'll say, please make sure that I get the right person on the phone and to get the result, that benefits everyone involved,
Right.
And you always have to it always has to be for good. You can't wish negative onto people, or you can't, you always have to have a good intention. Negative begets more negative.
Right.
So think about that. You always have to put out your positive, your good intention.
Right.
And if your intentions are good and your words are right, you can't hold on to it. You ask for what you want. You have faith that you'll get it, and you let it go, and it will come.
Exactly. And I want to open the lines for anybody that wants to call in, 949-313-8880. Again, that's 949-313-8880. If you have a question for Nancy about how to shift your energy, how to wake up, how to protect your energy or change your energy, any of those questions, this is the gal to ask. So call in now. We hardly have any time left. We only have like 20 minutes or not even, probably 15 here, because I usually close up short of an hour so I can, do the wrap up. But it's already gone. So yes, if you're out there and you have a question at all about energy, this is the gal to ask, like I said. And you can also, if you don't want to call in now or you listen to the show later, you can also reach Nancy at energygirlnancy@gmail.com. And her website is theenergyprofit.com. So, you covered a lot. That's why I had you back after Super Bowl, because it was like, I still had like 9 million questions that I knew people out there would like to talk. And you said, I wanted to talk about my angels and all this other stuff. I was like, we didn't even touch on any of that. So, there's a lot in the book. So I encourage
let's
people
talk about
to get
angels
it.
real quick,
That's why I brought it up. Yeah, I did for that
Yeah.
reason, because you said you wanted to talk about that, and we never got to it. But there is all of this is in the book as well. But yes, let's talk about that, because that was part of who you are. So.
Yeah, it is. And I've had a lot of experiences in my life, and I think other people have too. And I write about some of my experiences, but I also write other people's stories in the book. But I just want people to know that, they are here, they're around us, but what the bottom line is, you have to ask. And I think people are afraid or don't realize that they need to ask. Angels are here to help us. They're helpers. They're God's helpers. So, if, and I've been in a car and driving down the road and asked the angels for help and received it immediately. I can remember when I was in a snowstorm. I don't know if I ever told you this story, Servette, and I was stuck. And I was coming out of my office, and it was late in the evening, and I thought, what am I going to do? And I was trying to get out. I was like in between. I was in the road and the parking lot, and I was stuck. And there was nobody around, and it was a single mom at the time. And I said, okay, you guys, I need some help here. And this guy came out of nowhere. He had a long black trench coat on and black gloves, kind of short haircut. He says, I'll put you out, get in there and just steer, and I'll get you out onto the road. And I said, thank you, bless you. So he pushes me out on the road, and I get ready to go, and I turn around, and there's nobody there. He's gone. And these things have happened to me.
No, I
didn't. And I know...
Yeah, I never heard that story. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but that's amazing. I know, and I know other people have had similar stories, but
and you just have to ask. I think the biggest thing is to let people know the angels are out there. I believe we all have a guardian angel, but ask the angels for help. And let me just say something else, because I have had a lot of people say, "Oh, it's just a small thing." It's okay to ask for small things. Mm-hmm. It doesn't have to be a big thing. But if you don't ask, you don't get. So please ask, because they're here to help us, and I think people need to really realize that.
Right. I think they also really need to realize that universal source, God, whatever name you choose to, you couldn't call it Joe Schmo, I don't care. It's still the same energy that keeps planets revolving around the sun and little tiny embryos turn into human beings. I think that people forget to ask God for help too. I mean, that's a huge energy source that can do all kinds of things, and God does not lose your file. Well, I'm not going to help you because you had a lousy childhood and your mother was an alcoholic. That's not how it works. It's just, I mean, it's like he doesn't forget. I think the universe hears everything. Everything. I do too. And we're here to learn. We are on this planet to learn. Mm-hmm. We are all experiencing, and we're all learning. It's how we handle it. And yes, you do need to ask for help, because it's not easy down here. So, right.
And we all do the best that we can. And every time we stumble, we learn. Mm-hmm. And you just got to pick yourself back up and keep going again. And before it gets too late, I have to talk about numbers really quick.
Okay,
here,
yes,
because,
that was the other thing too. Angels and numbers, so please.
Yeah, numbers are so important, and I don't think people pay attention. Here we go. Wake up, pay attention. Mm-hmm. I started to pay attention to numbers. Both of my children were born on the same day, different months, and my grandson was born on that day. And then I realized my license plate, this is years ago, added up to that same number. Then I realized it was in my checking account. And it's like everybody has a number. And if you start to pay attention, you'll start to realize what your number is.
Right.
Okay? And what I realized was that it was the universe confirming that I was on the right path. Every time I saw my number, I knew that I was on the right path.
Okay, so what is your number? I gotta ask.
I'm not telling you what my
okay.
I'm not going to tell you what my number is.
No, okay, all right. But I have a number that I know I add up, like, even if I'm going to move, I add up the address of the street number. I do. I add it up.
Well, because numbers have energy. Here we go again. Mm-hmm. And that's why I did a whole chapter on numbers. And you can figure out your personality number, and I write about that in the book. But I guess more than anything, I want people to realize it's confirmation. Mm-hmm. Everybody knows kind of what their number is, and if you start to pay attention, you'll realize. And then once you start to pay attention, then you'll see it all the time. And it's like confirmation saying, hey, you're on the right path, Nancy, you're doing okay. I talk about another set of numbers that comes up when I go to the store and I buy something I shouldn't be purchasing, or maybe I spent a little bit too much. I will get a whole different set of numbers that comes up consistently. Mm-hmm. And I started to pay attention and started to realize, this is over 20 some years that I've been doing this. And it's just crazy. I bought a new car, a couple of weeks ago, and my husband said, well, when the license plate comes, if it has your number on it, I'm going to be a believer. And I opened the envelope and it had my number on it. And he said, okay.
Okay. You've got them too.
You know,
it
goes on and on.
Right, it does. And I also I do it with, if I wake up in the middle of the night and it's 3:33 a.m., I know something's trying to tell me something. And I'll figure it out myself, or it's 5:55 a.m. I don't know why. I know that's trying to tell me something, and I figure it out,
Right.
Because those numbers all have some kind of energy related to them, and they mean something. They do.
Right.
I think it's a message.
Well, it is a message. It's the universe confirming, I believe, that you're on the right path. And that you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. And when you don't see your number, or you see another set of numbers, you're off. And another thing I talk about in the book, one of the reasons that I think it's so important that we keep our energy fields clear is because it can throw you off your path. Other negative people or negative, spaces. And we talked a little bit about that when you go into a space and you know that it's, it doesn't feel really good and there's something wrong, stay away from those kind of places. It makes a lot of sense if you think about it. All these things make a difference in your life. They really do.
Did you do numbers for names for your children?
No.
Okay. So it's a different,
No.
Yeah. Okay.
No.
No, because that's numerology. So then that's a whole different field. So you're talking about something else. You're talking about the energy that you have personally to certain numbers that in your life.
Well, in my book, I tell you how to figure out your personality number, because we all have one. And I talk about how to figure out what year you're in. Are you in a year 1 or year 2 or year 3? And you can read about that in the book. But what I also talk about, and which we're talking about tonight, is it's almost confirmation that what you're doing is correct. It's the universe saying, yes, you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. And that's why I tell people to pay attention, because numbers do have energy. And I did a lot of research when I was checking out the numbers, and it goes back, thousands of years. And they realized that numbers had energy. And we don't pay attention to these things. Here we go again. Wake up.
Wake up. Yes, wake up. Well, last chance for anybody out there to wake up and call. You got if you've got a quick question now, because it's going to have to be quick. What'll happen is, 10 people tomorrow will tell, I had a question, but I didn't know if it's 949-313-8880, because we're winding down now. So if you do have a quick question about how energy is working and how to change energy, especially with, there is a call. So here we go. Let's add that person in here. Hello. 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 Are you there? Hello, we have a caller.
I'm here, but I don't hear anybody else.
I don't either. I don't know if they can hear me or not, because they are on the line. Hello? Hello? I don't know. We don't have... It's a local call here. Look, and we're running out of time, too. So, hello. Their number is still on the phone, so I don't know why that's doing that. I don't know. Okay. Well, we'll see what we can do here. Maybe they'll call back.
That's fine. One other thing, you talked about love a lot, Servat, and that's the energy of love is really the bottom line too. I do a chapter about love, because I think, that if you can just love each other, it may sound corny, but we've really gotten away from that. People aren't so nice. You go out into public and people aren't nice to each other.
Calling again, so hold on, and maybe I can get her. Okay, here we go. Hello?
Hello.
Hi.
Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you. I just don't know if we have our other caller on the line still now. But, Nancy, that we were talking to. Nancy, are you there? Yeah, it seems to pick one of you up and not the other. And that was a glitch last week, and I thought we fixed it, and we hadn't. So do you have a question for Nancy?
No, I just wanted to thank her, and that I enjoyed all of her information very much, and plan to reuse the information, because it I was aware of it. I just don't put it to good use on a daily basis. So I will begin again.
Okay, because I really would have liked her to hear that, and I don't even know if she's there anymore, but I will relay that to her now if I can get her back.
Okay.
We thought we fixed this glitch, and we didn't. But thank you for calling. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Hello, Nancy. Are you still there? Nancy, are you still there? Hello? Nancy? Nancy, are you still there? Are you still there?
Am.
Oh, good. You know what? I thought they fixed this problem, the producers, and they didn't, because I could talk to you and I could talk to her. I just couldn't put the two of you together. So I promise I will fix this. But you know what it is? She didn't have a question. She just called in to say thank you to you. And if you ever listen to the show after it comes up on YouTube or something, she said, I really just wanted to tell her thank you, and I'm actually going to use and reuse some of the information that you've been talking about tonight.
Oh, wonderful. And, that makes me happy.
It was somebody in Orange County because it was a 949 number, and I forgot to ask her name, but she just was thrilled. So I know she'll go to your website, the energy.
Oh, God bless her.
energyprofit.com, and your email is energygirlnancy@gmail.com. But people are listening. She did call in and she said, I really just wanted to say thank you. She didn't even have a question. So I thought that was
that's
sweet.
Yeah, Servette, I have to tell you something. I've used this stuff. You've known me for many years. Mm-hmm. And it just so happens that we've known each other a long time. And, we all go through things in our lives. And I've been so fortunate in my life. And this is my way of giving back.
Right.
I always thought I'd be really old when I wrote a book and told people, how to be successful and how to find the love of their life and how to do some of these things. And I was fortunate enough that I've been able to write this book. And this is my way of giving back, and hopefully if I can help somebody else, then I've done okay.
Well,
yes. I don't want to leave and say, hey, what did you do down there, Nance?
Right. Even if you help one person. No, I totally understand. That's all I'm about, because really, honestly, that's all it's all about. My life's work is to especially help everyone, but mostly women especially, to find their authentic self, their true self, with all these tools that are in the toolbox out there that can open you up and wake you up to who you really are, is what my work is all about too. So, I get it, and I'm glad you didn't wait till you were old to do this.
I know. Well, I always thought, okay, when I get in my 70s or something, I'll write a book and I'll tell everybody how I became successful and what a happy life I had and how I learned to draw things to myself and how I learned to do this. And, it's funny, because I am in the real estate industry, and when the real estate industry crashed, I'll tell this really quick, it was devastating to me because I did really well and I was a go-getter and I loved it. And I thought, what am I going to do? Well, God was trying to say, Nancy, you have to stop for a while and write this book. And it's interesting because once I finished the book, then my business picked back up, and I'm so busy doing real estate, but I also do my spiritual stuff.
Well, good.
But yeah, it's just, it's funny how God works, because I was given the opportunity, obviously, because other people needed to learn some of this stuff. So, and you are wonderful too, Servette, and you have helped me over the years, and I know you've helped a lot of people, and God bless you for it.
Thank you.
Because, you've done a really wonderful job helping people, and I'm glad you're doing this show, because the more good energy and good
Yes. Hello?
The world is, actually.
Yeah.
So you're doing a great job, and I thank you.
Well, thank you, too. And I appreciate you being on the show, Nancy. I really do. And I'm going to keep working, and you keep working, too, because you were called to come in with that in the middle of all your real estate. I'm sure you incorporate it all together anyway. Do you know? So.
Yeah, I do. It's funny. A lot of people, they're like, oh, I've heard you on the radio, and I'm selling them a piece of property or something. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
Spread the good energy out there.
That's right.
So.
Okay. Well, thank you for doing this and taking time from a vacation, because you're traveling with your family and you managed to call in tonight from the hills of Texas.
Yes.
And I think,
Yes.
thank you from the bottom of my heart. One more time, Nancy Yearout, and your book is Yearout. Did you hear that? That was so Freudian.
I heard that. That was funny. That was a Freudian slip there, right?
Yeah, because you have a great heart, and I got the year out mixed out with a great heart. So anyway, Nancy Yearout, and the name of the book is Wake Up, the Universe is Speaking to You. And thank you for being on the show tonight, Nancy. Thank you for joining me.
Thanks, Servet.
You take care.
Welcome. Bye.
Okay, bye-bye.
Okay, bye.
Bye. Oh, that was a great show. I love her. She's just amazing. And her book is amazing. And you can find it on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, theenergyprophet.com, or energygirlnancy@gmail.com is her email if you have questions, because people don't always know the question when they're listening to the show, and then they get the question later, and it's too late. Anyway, so you can still reach her. We have a really great show next Sunday. I have Dr. Mary Ryan on the show next week. She has written a book called Healing Anxiety. I'm not laughing, but I am laughing. I am laughing. But Healing Anxiety, a Tibetan medicine guide to healing anxiety, stress, and PTSD. And who amongst us cannot use that? I mean, all of us suffer from some sort of anxiety at some point in our lives. Healing anxiety is this is good. And you know what? In this day and age, like Nancy and I were talking about, there's so many angry people out there. A lot of anxiety going on in a collective sense, just as much as an individual sense. So if you have any kind of anxiety or stress going on in your life, that's a show to listen to. Dr. Mary Ryan, that's going to be next Sunday live, and we will take callers again, and the producer promised me they had fixed the glitch, and it's not, so we will try to make sure that that's done so the callers can actually talk to the people. And, on the air, and we'll do that, I'm sure. That's what happens when it's live, though. You have to go with the flow. My website is servethassan.com, servethassan.com, and you can email me at serveth@servethassan.com. Everything's on my website. We're moving into summer, if you can believe that. So I'm slowing down on the workshops. I haven't been blogging, but I will promise you that when I do, it'll be a big surprise, because sometimes I need a break just to get things together and start on new projects and other things. It all takes time, so I kind of put my priorities where I need to, but I'm still available for private sessions, and I'm still going to do workshops, and everything will go up on my website, and the blogs will start again. Watch out, and we'll continue with the show till I drop dead, I'm sure, and it'll be a good one next week. And you know, my life's work is about empowering women, empowering people, but mostly women, and that's about finding what is your true sense of self, who you really truly are. So be you to the full, because that's what's truly beautiful, and that's what makes your life happen, and that's what brings you everything you want easily and effortlessly without you having to use other kind of, things that you hope will work. That really works. Just be you, be your authentic self every day in every way that you can, and things will come. That's how it works. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you tune in next week. Thank you. Good night from Servet.